everyone. On this video, I want to give you a brief history of KSAT. It's an overall history and the test of math KSAT problems. Okay. The KSAT, which stands for Korea Scholastic Aptitude Test, was practiced, was executed in officially 1993. The test took place in 1993. It's test for admission year of it's for admission year of 1994. Okay, for admission. And before its birth, it had 3 years of experiment, say, or pilot test. So it tried everything from controlling, adjusting difficulty level, and growing its quality of problems, and enhancing the ability of institution. Here the institution is KICE, Korea Institution for Curriculum Evaluation. Their ability of producing proper problems set and doing the evaluation accurately as a test result, and so on, manipulating their human pools who produce and manage the whole process of the making problems and taking the exam and making the score evaluation and make an announcement, and then receiving feedback. Okay, all the things. They had 7 times of trial test. Originally, their plan was to take KSAT twice a year, August and November. So actually it did in the year of, for the admission year of 1994. So it's 1993 year, August and November, students took 2 exams. But there was an issue of level of difficulty. Students were supposed to choose one score from those 2 tests, which is more advantageous for them, for their admission. But what actually happened was that the test on August which took on August, was easy, and the test which took on November was very difficult. Um, so the gap was um, very deep. It was so easy, and the later one was so difficult. So students were frustrated. So so students and parents, they got angry, kind of. So the institution decided not to take exam twice, but once. So it was a new consensus, and so for the from the admission year 1995 test um, till now, the um, exam takes place once a year. Now we have only one test on November, but actually on each year we have two pilot test for each year. The KICE takes a test exam, trial exam on June and September. So they check the level of test takers, and they try a new kind of new type of problems, and they adjust the level of difficulties and so on. So they check as much as possible from those two pilot tests on each year. With this effort, sadly, each year we have issue of controlling level of difficulty. Some year, at 1 year, they say it's too easy, the test was too easy, and the other year they say it was too difficult, and so on. So what's in the middle? I don't know. It's a kind of continuing issues on each year. As a test score, they use a standardized score. They use a normal distribution, say Z, and they transform this value to t value. For instance, 10 times Z plus 50, something like that. The intersubjective difficulty level issue is that for the case of mathematics, you can choose from 3 optional subjects: probability, calculus, and geometry. And even though you have a full score from those optional tests, full score, like say we got the score, say full score 30 points, but their t-score could be different. So calculus, maybe it has more than 50, let's say just it's an example, 80, but probability it only has 65, and geometry it only has 78, and so on. If this is on case, then even if you get the full score from your optional subject test, and by your selection, you cannot overcome this kind of gap. So it's kind of issue that how can my decision of selection can be disadvantageous from the total score. Okay, so this involves the construction of the test, because we only have test once a year, so there's no extra information, no info to adjust t-test, t-score. So we are just using the t-score as it is. That's an issue. And let me introduce basic goal of the overall KSAT test. It's a test for a person who wants to admit universities. So it's a test for evaluating competency of studying in university, basically. And as I said, it uses a t-score as a final score. So it's a relative score. It's a relative score. I mean, so it makes ranking from 1 to 2, 3, and 4. It makes a sequence according to this t-score. So it's a relative score test. So students do their best to have a high score as possible as they can, and they do think that they compete with the test takers on each year. So the competition is very much overwhelming. Anyhow, and the KSAT problems comes from united course of study materials. So for instance, in Korean section, you can meet various science um, science materials or social science or humanity materials as some problem materials. And basically the level of difficulty and the level of content should meet the high school curriculum. And this test is not for evaluating the learning by rote, but to evaluate the ability to think. So when there's an happening that I want to shortly comment here, when this KST first practiced for the admission year of 1994, they took this test twice, only for this year, and they got the test score. But in some cases, the student who has received a high score in school, they got some students got very low score in KSAT, and vice versa. Some student who got very low score in school, that student got very high score in KSAT test. What does it mean is that in school, some students who are good at memorization, just learning by rote, they could get a high score for the test which is taken in school, in high school. But for the test of KSAT, just the memorization was not enough, so they got a low score. Some students actually did. So anyway, KSAT, its goal is to evaluate ability to think, and also it evaluate various competencies like analyzing materials, applying principles, and making logical analysis and decision, and so forth. Lastly, the goal of math test in KSAT, its basic goal is to evaluate all the thought process, not just an answer, but to evaluate the whole process to reach that answer. But in reality, since maybe 28 or 27 out of 30 problems, they are multiple choice type of problems. So in reality, they evaluate only the answer, okay? And the other 2 or 3 short question problems, short question type problems, they also submit their only answer. So there's a limit. So in reality, only answer matters for the score. The answer only the answer connects to the actual score. So whatever the process it was, uh, it does not it is not reflected on the score. Actually, the only the answers matter. That's the main limit for KSAT test now. I hope this limit can be overcome sometime. And in math test, the competencies they want to evaluate is computation and using algorithm and understanding concept, principles and laws, and also logically reasoning ability. And they try to deal with general and essential concept, not narrow one, not narrow and minor concept. They try to avoid to use it. And lastly, many of them are the things that I have already introduced, but KSAT, most of the problems are multiple choice among 5 selections. Okay, and then the T-score, standardized T-score, is used for their last result. So it is used for their process of admission, not the original test, but the standardized score is used. And now for the from the decades, it has those 5 main, the 6 main categories of tests: Korean, mathematics, English, science and social science, and humanities, and the second language and the Chinese language, second foreign language and the Chinese language. This is optional. The 5th one is optional. Okay, this is it. Thank you very much.